Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Alright, so welcome back to Space Engineers 2. Alright, so based on popular demand, we are going to talk about the mass lift weight for hydrogen thrusters. But first, how do we even build a hydrogen ship? Alright, so once again, we're going to start off with the basics. Cockpit, 1.5 meters, or the control seat. Battery, 1.5 meter, or the smaller variation of 0.5 meters is fine. A gyroscope, 0.5 meter, should suffice. You're going to need something new, a hydrogen tank, 1.5 meters, which does require turbine blades. Somewhat optional will be an O2H2 generator, 1.5 meters. And of course, you want to go crazy, some cargo containers, some connectors. But you're definitely going to need some conveyors as well. And of course, last but not least, you're going to need some hydrogen thrusters. And we have 4 variations of them. So we have 0.5 meter hydrogen thruster right here, a hydrogen thruster 2 meter, a 2.5 meter thruster, and lastly, a 7.5 meter hydrogen thruster. A ginormous, but very boosty thruster. And if you're curious to see what they look like full blast, that's what the hydrogen thrusters look like. Alright, so let's get building. And here we go. The most basic hydrogen ship you can ever have, which is a cockpit, a hydrogen tank, a adapter, some conveyors, batteries, gyroscope, thrusters, and a connector. So basically, we could have just done one battery, a small one, the 0.5 meter one, and no connector. But there's a reason for the connector, and that's to refuel the hydrogen tank itself. So at the very least, I would say this is close to the most simplified ship you can get for a hydrogen ship. But the only problem is you have no way to fuel this thing without a refueling station, which we have right here. So get into your cockpit and then line it up correctly. Hopefully you got to bring it here by a crane or something, or another ship or something like that. But once you're ready for refuel, press P. And you should be locked in right there. Now, we are fueling up our hydrogen tank right here. It's already 100%, really quick. Press P to unlock. Now, we can fly. So simple hydrogen ship with minimal thrusters. We have 5 thrusters. It's set for downwards because we are on a gravity planet, Verdure. So we're not going to worry about that there. We don't need that much batteries because the only power usage is more or less your cockpit lights, gyroscopes, and things like that. The thrusters will be running out of your hydrogen tank or your hydrogen itself. But if you do want to put an O2H2 generator, you can slap it in the back like I did here, which is very piss poor, but it could kind of work out okay that way. And you just need to slap on some forward thrusters, which could be kind of like right over here if you want to go that route. Like so. But then you can easily throw in some ice into the O2H2 generator, and it should give you some fuel in that way. But of course, you could go crazy with some designs like this. So here, I slapped on a hydrogen tank right over here, cargo container right in the middle behind it, 2 O2H2 generators on the side, 2 larger batteries on the side, a connector, and so forth. So basically, this is this. Slap on a few design blocks on the outer shell of it, and you got a nice looking, almost looking like a hovercraft taxi-like thing, but it certainly flies pretty decently, as you see here. So that is a hydrogen ship. Can you slap on atmospheric thrusters on it too? Absolutely. All right, so before we get to the mass limit, just for show, a little bit behind the scenes, because some of you had asked, how did I come up with the numbers for everything, especially the atmospheric thrusters and also for the hydrogen thruster in this case. So basically, if I come in here, I have nothing in my inventory. Into the same ship right here, the most basic one. This one is not very heavy at all, 1.58 tons you see here. That's including the player, I guess. And in order for me to find out the max weight, basically, you might have noticed there, some ore, some iron ore. how I did it was load up my character with the iron. So right here we have 4,272 kilograms of iron. I'm just gonna load it in my inventory. Hop into the cockpit. And then you'll see in the control panel, simple hydrogen ship. It is now 593 tons. Turn on the ship. Hit the spacebar, and we get a little bit of flight, as you see there. And then if we turn it off, it'll drop. All right, so now if we were to grab basically one additional iron, so what I'm gonna do is hold Alt, left mouse button, drag it here, press the 1 key, throw in 1 amount, hit confirm. And this becomes a plus or minus. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. But if I turn on the vehicle with Y, check on my control panels again. Simple. Hydrogen ship, 5.93 tons. And this time I'm going to hit space. Sometimes it flies, sometimes it doesn't. And as you see here, it doesn't. But that's how I determined how much kilograms of mass the thrusters can lift. So it could be to the point of 0.5. So basically, so if I were to come here, Alt, left mouse button again, and do 0.5 reduction, and you see here, it says 0 because that's rounded, I guess. Rounded down. Okay. Not even rounded to the nearest whole number. And basically, when I got to my hundreds or tens, I would split them up like this. Tens, hundreds, even thousands. So if you don't know how to do that, basically, tens is holding shift left mouse button. 100 is control left mouse button and drag it. Control shift and left mouse button is your thousands. Which I just messed that up. But anyways, when I got to those points, I just right click these off, drop them into this little pit, and I was able to determine the weight of the lift. So I dropped off 0.5, so it's still rounding up to 5.93 tons, but it might be like 5.932 or something like that in terms of kilograms. Not sure, but as you see here, it is still not working. So even the 0.5 is too heavy for it to really go anywhere. So if I really, really want to get a pinpoint of exactly how much, we could probably split this to say 0.25, drop that one, and hopefully we get lift. But I didn't get that down dirty to the numbers, and even that 0.25 is not even working. So screw that, we throw it away. And as you see here, turn this back on, and we got flight. But there's also a weird oddity too, because even if you were too heavy, let's just say that 0.25 again, and I got no lift right now. I'm hitting spacebar, you can probably hear it. But if I move forward and then spacebar, I got lift. So that's why I say there's a little bit of plus and minus to the mathing of the thrusters, which is really, really weird, because now I can lift it up even though I shouldn't be able to. And even if I dampen it off, put it back on, I still got the same flight. But even if you turn the ship off and back on, you still get that same lift, which is really, really odd. But if you got out of the ship itself and then came back in with it turned off, turn it back on, I got no lift anymore. So that's why this is plus and minus. Not really a significant plus and minus. It's just a little bit of numbers there. Maybe 10 to 100 kilograms, maybe. So here is the hydrogen thruster mass chart for the workshop. So I only did 3. So 0.5 meter hydrogen thrusters, 2 meter hydrogen thrusters, and a 2.5 hydrogen thrusters. So of course I didn't cover the 7.5 one, because I think this is a little too much anyway. So we will probably get to that when we build capital ships. But for now, let's stick with basic ships. Other things to note is the 0.5 hydrogen thruster is equal to a mass of 33 kilograms. 2 meter hydrogen thruster is 371 kilograms. 2.5 is 1,005 kilograms. So you're adding more weight as you're adding these thrusters. So keep that in mind, of course. So you want to focus on this one first, because that is the minimum one thruster. Now, so that's 5,930 kilograms or 5.93 tons, as we were looking at it before. So that's how much a 0.5 meter hydrogen thruster can lift. So of course, times it by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 12. 12 of them will give you the 71,160 kilograms of lift for mass. And of course, the 2 meter hydrogen thruster is 35,500 kilograms for one. And your 2.5 is 186,690 kilograms, which is a lot. a lot of lift. So this here will be a combined version of the hydrogen thruster chart. So you can always subscribe, place it down in creative if anything, and you have all three of them listed right over here. So apologies for not doing that for the atmospheric thruster one. I'm just going to leave it as that for now because you can always combine it yourself if anything. Here's the hydrogen thruster version of the mass chart. And of course, if you want some more behind the scenes stuff, here is my initial refueling station that I created with a little bit of a crane arm to position the connectors into the right place. But I forgot pressing P or park has that magnetic field thing. So it didn't really even need that, to be honest. So even with this one here, just press P. It's very rough, as you see here, but it works really well. And when I was initially doing this to try to get it closer to connect, which is a little bit hard to see, we have the different controls for the arms. We have the hinge going up and down right here. And then we have the rotor to move the seat this way with the hinge. And then the piston to go forward to get close to there. Like so. And we lock it in. And we can bring this thing up and down and closer to the connector in this way. But it was completely unnecessary to do it that way because it probably is going to cause a little bit of clang. Let's see if this works. Ooh, nope, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It gets kind of close, which we could probably maneuver this to get attached. There. That wasn't perfect, but it kind of worked. We can unlock it from the legs here. And there you go. That was the initial version of the refueling station, but of course we fine-tuned it and put it out here with the two arms, which was perfect because we could easily take a ship with a small connector in the front. And if we're not positioned correctly, well, guess what? We don't really need the landing gears and stuff. We could just push it ourselves. Like so. And then get in there and go crazy with the P button. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this guide and enjoy the workshop item reference thingy. If you like more of these, like and subscribe. Comment down below. Even just say hi. And of course, I'll see you guys next time.